Do you dare to enter the forsaken toy room where the once innocent and playful space now exudes a sinister aura? The dolls that once brought joy now seem possessed by malevolent spirits, their eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. The rocking horse creaks back and forth on its own. The jack-in-the-box pops open repeatedly to reveal a grotesque and twisted face. Still, have the courage to confront the dark forces? Then let's meet with a doll that will leave you assaulted by a cacophony of eerie sounds. When I was in my childhood, antique dolls fascinated me due to their intricate designs and the stories they were able to tell without even speaking. So I used to spend hours playing with dolls and creating imaginary castles for them where they would marry their prince and go on adventures. But I was unaware that my obsession would become the source of my destruction. On my 12th birthday, Dad bought me a beautiful doll from an antique shop. I'd never seen such a doll before. That porcelain doll had curly golden hairs and was wearing a pink frilly dress. There was something in her that drew me towards her. I was happy to add it to my collection in my toys room. A few days passed finally, but then I noticed that something was strange about the doll. Whenever I went into my toy room, no other toy attracted me except that doll, and I spent all my time playing with it. Between these moments, strange things started to happen. It began with small things like the doll changed its position from where I left her. I shook off this feeling, thinking that I must have placed it here. However, things started to become stranger. I started hearing the sounds of footsteps at night, like someone was running on the stairs. I told my mom about it too and asked her to sleep in my bedroom for a night to notice these sounds. So the next day my mom was sleeping with me in my bed and the sounds of footsteps started coming again. I woke up my mother and she confirmed that these sounds of footsteps are from the stairs. My mom and dad went upstairs with me to see who was there. No one was there, but when we went to the toy room, I was surprised. The doll was not at the position where I used to keep her. Moreover, other dolls and toys placed on the shelves were also moved and rearranged. I wanted to tell that to my mom, but I don't know why the doll's eyes stopped me from doing so. It was confirmed that I was under her trance. She was controlling me. However, fear settled in my mind, and I stopped playing with that doll, but it continued to reposition my toys at night. It was clear that she wanted my attention even when I just wanted to get rid of her. She started scaring me with the deepness in her eyes, and I could not get my mind off her. I started to throw that doll away, so I opened the lock of the storeroom in the basement of our house and threw it inside to never see her again. But what happened next was enough to scare the hell out of me. She invaded my dreams and turned them into nightmares. Every night in my dreams, I saw her killing and torturing me. I saw her changing into a ghostly figure and killing my friends and family. I saw her tearing away my stuffed toys and setting my house on fire. I was not able to tell this to my mom because the doll simply stopped me from doing that by giving threats in the nightmares. My friend Bella visited me on Sunday. She asked me to go to my toy room to show my collection to her. I agreed and took her to the toy room, but I was surprised. The doll was present at her place instead of being in the storeroom where I left her. I was about to scream, but Bella was there and I didn't want her to know that my doll was haunted. Bella asked me to show her my porcelain doll that I got on my birthday. I pointed out at the doll, but I felt a strange energy emanating from her. Her lifeless yet dark eyes were fixed on my face, and in a minute I started getting cold sweats and found myself gasping for air and clutching my chest. I stayed silent and asked Bella to come out of the room and go to the dining room to eat the pizza my mom just ordered. But all the time I stayed thinking about how to get rid of the doll. Bella left my home at night when her parents came to pick her up. It was too late to deal with the doll, so I decided to go to sleep and tell my mom in the morning about what happened in the toy room. I was sleeping peacefully, but then I felt that something was touching my feet. I got terrified and woke up with a scream. I was lying on the toy room floor and my doll with her long porcelain arms were reaching towards me to grab my neck. I screamed even louder when I saw the other dolls from the toy room were with her too. They were standing over me, laughing at my helplessness. I was about to suffocate when my mother reached the room. She saw my doll grabbing my neck and ran towards her to get me out of its hold. She used all her energy to get rid of her, but all went in vain. Then my dad came and pushed the doll away from me. The doors of our home started opening and closing themselves. All the glass panes in the windows broke and strong winds started tearing the curtains. My dad grabbed the keys of the car, picked me up, took my mom and left for the church. He knew that something paranormal had happened in our home, due to which the doors and windows got broken and the winds were blowing in our house while it was calm outside. So we went to paranormal investigators to assess the situation and help us get rid of that haunting doll. The investigators named Dr. Charles and Dr. Anna arrived promptly at our home and asked us to come too. All 5 of us arrived back home, but the dolls and other toys were in the toy room instead of being in my bedroom where I left them. I told Anna about everything that happened with me, from the small movements to the nightmares and her murder attempts. Anna promptly guessed that some sort of paranormal activity was happening in the house. She told Dr. Charles to start the investigation. They started setting up their equipment like digital thermometers, audio recorders, and electromagnetic field detectors. Anna was super friendly and told me that they'll be looking for unusual spikes in EMF to get a sign of paranormal activity. So they set their equipment in the toy room and my bedroom. As they began their investigations, I heard the doll banging on the toy room door to break free. Along with the other dolls in the room, she started screaming. After a few hours of investigation, Anna called us to the hall and showed the readings from the toy room, which indicated that something was in the room that generated strong electromagnetic waves. Charles told my father that the dolls in the toy room are possessed by a malevolent creature that was living in the antique doll you bought for over a century. When you brought her home, she was attached to me, but then I started hating her and it showed her murderous rage. Then they told my father to do a cleansing treatment inside the house to get rid of that spirit. They took some sage and salt and entered the toy room. The horrific sounds were coming out of the room as Anna and Charles performed the treatment. After that, they took me to the bedroom and performed cleansing treatment. I saw shadows dancing in my room, but Anna held my hand tightly. After a few minutes, I felt a sense of calmness in me, and the heaviness in the bedroom and toy room diminished. Anna and Charles told my father that everything was fine now. They took the dolls from me and put them in their bags. They said the house had been cleaned and there's no negative energy around us now. Don't try to bring any toy or haunted object into the house again. They left with their equipment, and my craze for the antique dolls left my heart forever.